than that to be one of the best, and you've got to have that dash to score a try, and certainly they...
Here are some of the highlights of the second half. Eisenhuth very nearly plucking an intercept out of the air there. Yeah, I agree with you, Dave. If you look at the full 80 minutes, to me, the Devils seem to have control over their game most of the time, and a lot of that was led by Dargan, but he wasn't alone. Ahern played a very big role in all of that. They've got some big forwards too, Leota, Tanua Brown. They were pretty impressive. And Tuasau as well. Big men who did some damage. East seemed to surge in and out of the game. They had some patches where they were quiet, and particularly at the beginning of the game where there didn't seem to be the aggression and intensity in defence. Like they just started a little bit sleepily today, I thought, the Tigers. But they did surge into the game at times and certainly put on some beautiful plays. We saw a couple of fine tries from them. I mean, they were forced. Certainly one difference was the kicking game. I mean, Josh Ralph, I think, his kicking game got better as the game went on. The loss of Fayoud probably didn't help either. He was injured in the first half. When you lose your halfback, that's never going to help. Even though they tried to cover it with the use of Foster and Ostwald in different roles around the ruck. But so that was a problem for them.
Mate, your comment around the game surged and the Tigers seemed to surge is a very good comment on the basis that it's interesting. It doesn't often happen in terms of a try-scoring sequence, but North scored the first 3 tries. East then scored 2. North scored 2. East then scored 3. So there was this, oftentimes in these close games you get try for try occasionally in periods of the game. All these tries were scored in chunks, and that's what happened. Sides got a bit of dominance and were able to then get some points on the board. So there was some surging going on. The Tigers, it's one thing surging if you get the first 3 tries, but if you then surge on the comeback trail, you've got to grind it out as well. And I think that was the problem. The Tigers were down 18-0. And from that point on, they were going to chase their tail bit.
I thought they looked pretty good when the Tigers late in the game when Jake Foster came back onto the field. They had Tuolangi really doing some damage. Vete was also looking good. Eisenhuth contributed right throughout. But I think when you see Tuolangi and Jake Foster starting to have an impact, the Tigers looked pretty dangerous, and that was where they threatened to go over the top.
This have always been an attacking side. Always been an attacking side.
Not sure if that microphone's working. Try this one.
Not sure. Yeah, East have always been a good attacking side, haven't they? And, if there's been a defect over the years, it's been that they haven't always been the strongest defensive side, and teams try to take advantage of that. So that's all good and well. But as you boys have said, they really need to stiffen up that defence. They've certainly got the attack. The disruption of the several changes certainly hasn't helped. But they toughed it out today. They tried hard. They worked really well in attack together, and they scored some beautiful tries, particularly that one down that left side, middle of that second half. So they've got the ability there. It's just got to come together at the training and so forth.
And Gav, you've coached here at East previously, but probably under a different era when we didn't have the feeder club system. It's got to be difficult, especially defensively, to bring guys to, we all talk about defence as attitude and doing it for your mates and all this sort of stuff. At the moment, these guys have got to recreate that whole atmosphere with a number of changes. Now, it can be done. It'll take a few weeks. So I think that's something they can fix. If your tack wasn't good enough, you'd think, well, we're going to struggle here. So I think they've got the basis against which they can improve from here.
Look, I absolutely agree, Dave. When you shake hands with the guy who's going to be defending right beside you, the night before you go out onto the paddock, well, it's going to be a bit difficult and introduce yourself. So, they've come up with a number of obstacles we've put up that we're making reasons for them not going so well, but you do expect them to continue to improve over the course of the next 7 or 8 weeks. I don't think they're in any danger of missing the 8. I had a look at the table just before we came on air, and I think they're 3 points clear of the 8th place side. So I think they're going to make the 8. It's where they finish in the 8, as you guys mentioned earlier in the game, is the important part. And
I think you mean like 3 games, 3 games clear.
3 games clear.
6 points for Ipswich. Yes.
Correct. Yeah.
if Ipswich win this weekend and go to 14 points and East stay on 18, they're a little bit closer. But yeah, it's hard pressed to see them missing the 8 because Redcliffe and Mackay are back on 10 points. But is that going to be good enough? You know, I think you have to often go back to what you're thinking before a game, and we spent a lot of time talking about all the changes and